Good morning and welcome to the Rutherford County Farmers Market Seasonal Eating Presentation. My name is Carla Bush and I'm the Family Consumer Sciences Agent for the UT-TSU Extension here in Murfreesboro. And this seasonal eating is featuring tomatoes. So I don't know if you have gardens or if you are here to shop at the farmers market for tomatoes, but they are definitely in. So I have for you to taste today 2 recipes using lots of tomatoes because if they're in, and you need to do something with them. So one of the recipes I've chosen for you to taste and share with you is a tomato pie. And I can tell you the last tomato pie I had was at Melanie O'Neill's house, and I'll call first and last name because she was such a good cook. She is in Geneva McKnight's FCE club, and she said she got her recipe from Pinterest, but I'm going to share with you a recipe in the tomatoes booklet that you'll get with several recipes. But I talked to her to get several little hints and tips the day that we had that tomato pie at Melanie's house. But that is one of the best ways to get recipes. I'm glad you're all here because you can look at recipes online or you can see them on television, and everything they make on television just looks so good and they always taste it and it tastes so good, but there is nothing like having it at a club meeting or having it at a potluck or having it here and saying, now I'm going to really take that home and do that. So I am happy to provide a tasting for you with these 2 recipes. The other one I have is salsa because, again, it's just 'tis the season for salsa. And so I make this salsa, and my mother-in-law, who is an excellent cook, just loves this, can't wait for me to make this salsa. And it's really, I said, it is just embarrassingly easy. And somebody said yesterday, that would be a really good name for it. You should call it Embarrassingly Easy Salsa. So even my husband on Facebook, we have a friend who took a picture of all the tomatoes, a table full of tomatoes, and said, send me your recipes because I don't know what to do with all of these. And so my husband lovingly said, Carla does a really good salsa recipe, and I thought, it's so easy. And I think it's just fresh. That's the key. I mean, fresh ingredients make all the difference. Now I'll try to give you a little hints and tips on prepping the ingredients to the salsa just to save a little time, because I do, and I said this a little earlier, I don't bungee jump or jump out of airplanes for excitement. I just tend to overschedule. That's my adrenaline rush. So I'm a busy mother of 2, so any little shortcuts in cooking I appreciate. And I don't know how you chop up an onion, but I'm going to show you how I chop up an onion, and it could potentially change your life. So I hope that's how it works for you. So on Friday, I did a presentation on putting up tomatoes. So I'm going to share with you some information from that class. Thank you, Alan. Alan Jenkins, everyone. He is our AIT. I like to call him our AIT, our Agent in Training. And he is here in Rutherford County and getting a variety of extension experiences. Once you have your publication, you'll notice on the inside cover there are several websites with information about food safety and food preservation. The first one being foodsafety.gov. And the next one, when you are interested in food preservation, the Bible of food preservation that extension agents use comes from the University of Georgia. And it is the National Center for Home Food Preservation. And so their website has online courses, it has videos, slideshows, tutorials, and publications. They also have a book that we have available in our office. If you're interested, it is the most recent research-based information and recipes regarding canning, drying, and freezing everything, not only tomatoes. And then, you might recognize some of those other names that you hear when you talk about preservation. Ball, Presto, Mrs. Wages, and then, like I said, UT Extension has other publications. Also, if you're canning, do not forget to have your pressure canner. If it has a dial gauge, that gauge needs to be tested to make sure it is accurate. So if you're supposed to pressure can something at 15 pounds of pressure, then you need to make sure you're doing that at 15. Now, tomato selection, whether you're preserving or whether you're preparing ingredients, again, disease-free, preferably vine ripe, but we're learning a little bit. If you can pick them just a little early, then they'll ripen for you in a day or two. Do not can tomatoes from dead or frost-killed vines. So, and one of the steps that we talked about in the preservation class is down there. It says to prepare the fruit. Wash, remove stems, trim bruised or discolored portions, and to remove the peel, which we'll be doing that right here. To remove the peel, you dip a raw, washed and destemmed tomato into boiling water, and it can be 30 seconds to 2 minutes, but it will loosen the peel. So then you'll core it and peel it. And some of you are nodding your head like you're already familiar with this, and that's wonderful. But if you're not, I want you to be, because again, those little hints and tips, they change your life. Just let me know. Now, also, while this is, if you're not familiar with this tool, I do that every time. I say you have to have the tools. This is an induction cooktop. It's just a single, and it is. You have to have certain cookware that is magnetic for the heat to transfer into the pan, but it heats up pretty fast. So this pan is full of water, and as soon as it starts boiling, I'm going to put the tomato in it for it to loosen its peel. So what I'm making is on, there's not page numbers, but this tomato, the page that says tomato salsa, and at the bottom it says embarrassingly easy tomato salsa, that's the one. So, my secret's out. You're not going to be impressed at all, I'm afraid, but it tastes really good. So some of you were familiar with the tomato going into the boiling water, all right? Blanching, or you're peeling it. So, on the reset button. Good point. I'm going to leave that one off. Turn this one on. Try that again. Tomato in the boiling water, and then you immediately put it into the ice water, and it needs to set long enough so that you can handle it. Then you're going to use your paring knife and core it and peel it, and I have a trash bowl, which I've already used for the onion. So when that boils, we'll get that done. Now I prefer sweet onions in my salsa. So I've already done half an onion to caramelize for the tomato pie, but when I cut my onions, I cut off, this is the root end, so I cut off the other end, and then I'll cut it through the root in half. So then I peel the onion. This is a lot different than cooking in your own home. A lot of pressure here with people watching. So appreciate that. All right, so my first cut is usually right through the middle, but I do not cut through the root. If you do not cut through the root, it keeps it all together. Now I'm going to cut like a peacock. All right, so my first one was in the middle, and then I'm going to do angles on both sides. So it's not a true dice. So if you want to be fancy, like a French chef, this is not a true dice. But it's going to dice it. It's going to be in little pieces. So if you need a quick, I don't know if you can see those. So it can be as large or as fine as you like, and then you just keep chopping until you get close to the root. And I am not a chef, I am a home cook, so that's my excuse if someone's watching this and they're like, she's got it wrong. But it works for me, so I throw that into the trash, and then I have all these nice diced onions, raw, to put into the salsa. All right, yay, right? That was easy. Now I use a knife to chop, my onions, but I use a smaller knife for the jalapeno. Now, watch this. Now these are already washed, of course, and then I cut the cap off and I slice down the center. And for my salsa, I remove the seeds and the membrane on the inside.
And you don't wear gloves on them?
I don't. Again, I just, this is how I seek thrills. Some people do. How many of you wear gloves when you do jalapenos? You don't?
I don't use jalapenos.
You don't use jalapenos? Well, I definitely do, and I just, I don't know, I've seen people use gloves, and you know what? I thought about using gloves because I thought the potential of me accidentally touching something on my face in front of a group while being recorded, that could happen. But, again, just living on the wild side, keep it exciting for y'all. Then, all right, my water's boiling. I'm just gonna put one little tomato in there to demonstrate. Now this is where my food chopper comes in, because I don't finely chop my jalapeno peppers. I use my food chopper, and I use it right on my cutting board with the onion still on there. I left that on there. My girls really appreciated this last night at 10 o'clock when I was making that batch. I do the peppers first, always, because the peppers are going to get stuck up in your food chopper. So, because, listen, when you cook, you have to be with other people who cook. And that's another reason I value my FCE club so much, because they all cooked, and that's where you got to try recipes and swap recipes, because it does help to bounce off, new ideas, or just to say, I've never done that, has anybody else? Now, admittedly, I left that in there a little long, but you can see how the skin split, all right? And it's been in the ice water so I can handle it. It just pops right off. It's like cheating on your homework.
I wish somebody had told my grandmother that when I was 10 years old, sitting on the back porch peeling tomatoes for days.
So peeled and cored, and then I use my chopper again, and the juice, the liquid or the juice from the tomato is trapped in the chopper, and I just take all these ingredients and put them in a bowl. Now, I know you have amounts on the recipe, but you've got to do what works for you and your family. And you may be a hotter pepper kind of family, or cilantro. I like cilantro, it just doesn't like me so much. So I don't have cilantro in there. If you like lime juice, that's something else that you can do. But this is the embarrassingly easy salsa, and I'm going to give it to Louise. And she's going to serve up some samples for you. Now the other, you got it? Now that is also salt and pepper. So that's the difference and why I didn't just dump all that in there for you.
Now, did you say that you didn't put any lime juice in it?
I did not.
Okay.
Optional. So,
Do you have a spoon?
maybe I have this one. And the other one, I'm just going to show it to you and then I'll talk you through it, because Alan's going to go to work on this one. This is the tomato pie. And so, if you want to go lower calorie, you can, and not use cheddar cheese or use a lower fat mayonnaise in it. But the recipe for this is the, yes.
On the back page?
It
In the
is.
middle.
It is in,
The very middle.
Where the staple is.
yes, where the staple is, in the very middle. All right, so you have the tomato salsa, the embarrassingly easy fresh salsa. There's a green tomato bar, broiled tomatoes with feta cheese, very easy. Love those. That one is so easy. You wash and you cut your tomatoes in half and lengthwise, cut them however you want. It could even be, plum tomatoes. It says plum tomatoes, but it could be any tomato. And then you put your favorite cheese. It could be Parmesan. This recipe says feta. You can use Italian dressing or even dried Italian seasoning. You put that on top and then you put it under the broiler for only 2 to 3 minutes until that cheese melts on top. Then you have tomato ketchup, green tomato relish, and your tomato pie. Now the tomato pie, I used the, what do you need? Which one? That one? You need this too. Onion, now chopped. I've demonstrated the chopping. Now don't be afraid to caramelize your onions, even more than this. Now these are a little dry because I was missing some oil, but the ones that I used for the tomato pie, I did use some oil. But really get those caramelized and brown and yummy. All right, and then and it's almost, they're just, that's the bottom layer. Once you prep the pie crust, you put the chopped onions caramelized in the very bottom, and then you use 3 to 4 tomatoes, and that is cut in half. And this says squeezed, but this is what I did. I have a strawberry capper. I think I mentioned this when I did the other tomato preservation class, but I don't cap strawberries with that. I use it to get the membrane out of the seeds and the really juicy part of the tomato, because some recipes, like a tomato pie, it would be soft on the bottom of the crust if you didn't get as much of the juice out as possible. So I used that, and my husband watched me again and was like, "Oh, you're taking out all the guts of the tomato." And it's like, yes, but this is for this recipe, that's what you need to do, to try to get as much of the juice out so it'll kind of be just the meat of the fruit. Then you have, again, some fresh basil, and then 2 cups of, for this pie, I used sharp cheddar, because if you're going to use cheddar, you need to use sharp, in my opinion. And also, I grate my own cheese. I get a block and I grate it. Why? I think it tastes better, and if you will look at all your pre-grated, the bags, really convenient, but all of them have some kind of anti-caking ingredient, usually the dextrose or calcium sulfate. So if I just try to limit that kind of stuff, as far as I just don't want to preserve myself from the inside out. So I just prefer, I think it tastes better, and I can do without that extra ingredient. I also used mayonnaise mixed with the cheese and just a little shot of hot sauce. Now salt and pepper, and that's another thing I've learned through the years cooking. You can have just the best dish ever, but if you don't put salt and pepper on it, it's not going to taste like anything. So you have to season. So salt and pepper, definitely on that. So, and it walks through the, as far as squeezing the moisture out, I used a lot of paper towels this morning, and getting really caramelized onions, and then the spread on top, like I said, a little shot and it was like a sticky snowball, and it balled up, and I spread out the topping on top. There's also more recipes in here: tomato bacon cups, tomato apple relish, a double tomato bruschetta, and that is from Janie Becker. I don't know if you know her. She was the farmer's market manager, and now she's a horticulture agent in the office. And she is a very good cook and a very good gardener. So she knows how to best use some of these garden jewels, that I call them. So she has recommended this double tomato bruschetta. Love it. And then spaghetti sauce is in here, and amazing tomato spice cake, and an avocado, tomato, and mango salsa, and then it says a BLT pizza. That's another thing we have had a lot of recently. Broiled tomatoes with the Italian and cheese, but BLTs. We've had like a BLT for breakfast for the past 2 weeks. So really good turkey bacon, though. So just to be in whole wheat bread. There's an Oscar relish, and then some information maybe for you if you didn't already know, and maybe some kiddos about tomatoes. and how they are a gift from the Mayans, and they're native to Central America, and they belong in the nightshade family. If you're interested in the nutrients for tomatoes, they are low in calorie and low in fat, rich in potassium and vitamin C, and as far as phytochemicals, they are lycopene, and the body better absorbs lycopene from cooked or processed tomatoes. And if you do plan to can your tomatoes, I had somebody come in the office last week and ask about water bath. Yes, you can water bath your tomatoes when you're canning them. You could also pressure can them, but most people find water bath a little easier than pressure canning. And again, for those recommendations, you're welcome to go by our office, which is that front building, Suite 101, and they have some canning publications available for you there. Now, we're going to get those samples ready for you to try, but I also want you to know so many other things going on. Today at the market is the second day for the Farmers Market Fresh program. Farmers Market Fresh is a program that I'm in charge of, and I'm so grateful to have Orlena and June. You need to go meet them. They are under the tent on the far side of the building, and Farmers Market Fresh is featuring blueberries today. So as an incentive item or a freebie, they are giving away colanders so that you can wash your berries. So they are targeting, people to use local and buy fresh, and also little recipes. They'll give you a recipe card each week so that you can have some ideas as to how to use these fresh fruits and vegetables. So each week will be a different commodity food, and enjoy today it's blueberries, and they're doing a blueberry smoothie. Since I'm doing tomatoes, I guess they didn't want to overlap. I also wanted you to know another upcoming event is the Rutherford County Quilt Trail. I didn't know if you knew, it's kind of in its not infancy, but it's been around maybe 2 years now. But on Friday, August the 14th, leaving here at about 9 a.m. and coming back at about 3. If you are interested in taking the tour in the Braidable Road community in Cripple Creek and Readable, it's a really nice tour. We'll have lunch at Cripple Creek Presbyterian Church. It's catered by Carolyn's Creation. And you'll get to see different stops along the way. Farrell Hollow Farm, which is a horse rescue place, as well as Brown's blacksmith shop. But it's a really cool tour, and we hope we have beautiful weather. I can't guarantee that, but it is also an event that's coming up that's coming through our office.
Are you ready to serve?
Yes, ma'am. If we will, she'll pass around our samples. Do you have any questions for me? Friday, August the 14th, and I have brochures up here. Friday, August the 14th. And when we dismiss, this is the embarrassingly easy salsa, and I think Alan will be coming with the tomato pie.
Yes,
That's right.
and then we have a drawing.
And we have a drawing.
Thank you.
Does
Thank you.
everyone have a ticket for the door prize?
Where'd you find your cooktop? Anywhere? You get it anywhere?
Pretty neat,
I hate to say, it's probably Amazon. But yes, it's nice. Now I have an induction cooktop at home. Love it. Boils water really fast. The only thing is when you're canning, if it's a water bath canner and it boils over sometimes, it can immediately shut off. So for 45 minutes while you're processing your quart jars of tomatoes, you have to stand over it. And see, because it's cold right here. You can get right up to it. But when you are under the surface, it gets hot. So I can put towels to catch some of the water, but I have had it shut off while I was processing. And so you can just imagine.
And so what kind of cooking? You have that special cookware?
Thanks. This is I
Except need this all night long.
know. And so that is why all my family's like, where's the salsa? Where's the salsa? So tonight we're doing a fish fry and I'm bringing salsa. There you go, Cindy. So, I don't know, salsa and fish, but yes, yes. And see, that's why I'm just telling you, I don't mean to shatter anybody's dream, but it's really just fresh ingredients.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Well, it's got a fresh taste to it.
See, and I don't mean to be so surprised. I mean, people tell me that, and I'm just like, I just don't get it. It's 3 ingredients.
Thank you.
Well, salt and pepper. Salt and pepper.
Thank
But
you.
that is what you're eating. It's tomatoes, it's onion, and jalapeno.
I like to cook anything over 5 ingredients.
Right. I know. That's right. You're with most people. Here she has found some spoons.
Spoons.
Thank you.
I love the food.
And this
I'm
right here
sorry.
would probably be,
And listen-
it'd probably be okay with chips.
Oh, I bet.
Just eat with your fingers.
How is the, have you tried the tomato pie?
Awesome.
Okay. Good, thanks. I've said I try to make friends by bringing food.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Alan.
I just like it.
I said I brought in.
I tried.
Yesterday was my birthday,
Huh? Oh,
and I brought in
I'll be
a
better.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
You gotta go cook.
Yeah, thanks.
Or cook.
That is the ultimate to me.
Cooking or cook. All right.
Cook is good. And that is the ultimate. And I've said that in some of my other classes, is that I really don't aspire to be rich or famous, just, healthy and happy. And I genuinely want my grandchildren, who will be years from now, I genuinely want them to say, oh, she is such a good cook. That would be like, jewels in my crown.
You know, I've never had
That's
this,
good.
I've never had this pie before.
Uh-huh.
Not good.
That's like dessert.
I know. I remember. Listen, when Melanie made it, I thought the same thing.
And
I
low
thought I
carb.
would just marry her.
Main dish, or what would the tomato pie be?
Main dish. Well, it's kind of like, I kind of would see it as maybe like a quiche, maybe even. You can have it any time of the day.
Different types of.
But
It is
I
like a
think
quiche.
You can
like
use it for a
green
full
salad
meal,
on the
couldn't you?
side, or
Every
maybe,
day.
and some fruit and tomato pie.
That's
Ooh,
good.
I know. Well, I am
It is
so,
good.
thank you for enjoying it. And
Thank you for making.
well, you're welcome. And so that is why you need these recipes, and I like to share. And we can come back and have another support group for our cooking needs. And I miss Diane. Diane is a master gardener who has helped in the past, and she was, I appreciate Louise today helping with all the samples. Diane has been with me in the past few, and she's like, I really want to be a good cook too. And I was like, I get it. Because, I
No, I have to
just,
skip right now.
that's a big deal to me.
Thank you, though.
Oh, yes, I do have extras of these if you would like. I'll put them in the back if you have extra. And do not forget to go see Marlena with the blueberry smoothie. And,
I'm thankful.
I can drink salsa.
you're gonna drink it. I do it.
You know
I
what?
know, there's some
Tomato pie
extras.
would be good. You could probably.
I do, I think you all put
Different
them in, and I
cheeses
think
on
y'all,
there, too.
I'm pretty sure, I'm doing this every month. So my name is Carla Bush. If you have the schedule for all of the classes, if you don't have one, I'm sure they have one out at the main tables. So seasonal eating will be whatever is in season, and I usually choose it the day before. But I'll post it to Facebook. So I've done, I think this is my 3rd one.
What were the other two?
Yes, I'm certain that I have it somewhere on my computer. One of them was on meal planning, and my first one was on egg cookery. Remember that one? That was my first one. I was a little nervous. I say crazy things when I get nervous. So that's always fun to watch. All right. Well, I appreciate you all coming, and I know I have another one probably the end of August, and I don't know what it's going to be. But you can check Facebook, Rutherford County Farmers Market on Facebook. All right. Thank you.